Alrighty, here we are. We're going to talk through the starting process or procedure for the Baron. My name is Sean. This is Jeremy. You don't have to hold it yet. Alright, so the first thing we do, hold back on the yoke, and we're going to start the battery and the alternator. Get those all turned on. Now we're going to wait for this screen. You can pull these back, get them out of the way. Once this screen comes up, hit the left button. That brings up all your engine instruments. And during this time, while we're waiting for the engine instruments to all come up, we can push throttles and the mixers forward. We do hit refuel. We're going to hit remove because we have 166 gallons on board. That's good enough. Hit save. Yeah, hit save again. Okay, so now we're going to find the, here, hold that yoke back for me. We're going to find the fuel boost pump for the left engine. We're going to turn it on. And we'll note that we've got a rise in fuel pressure. So we're going to start cranking the engine. Once it fires, throttle comes back, 1,000 RPM. Fuel pump turns off. And door seal inflate. That is so the airplane will pressurize. Now we're going to follow the same exact procedure again with the right engine. Oh, after the first engine starts, you can turn on the air conditioner. So now we're going to do the fuel pump on the right engine. Wait a few seconds while this thing starts coming up on the fuel flow, and then we start cranking the right engine. Once it starts, come back on the throttle. We're going to turn the fuel pump off, and that is the start procedure. Now, we've got the after start, which is Aspen PFD on, and the Avionics Master on. And that is all we're going to do for now. Okay, now we got our avionics turned on, and another step we forgot is to turn on the stereo system. The bottom left button, that actually will turn off. There's a little bit of a squeal. That will turn off and make everything better. Oh, that's weird. Okay, so hit OK on the GPSs, get those all fired up, and we listen to the ATIS.
Map transformation echo time 2051 Zulu, wind 220 at 15, gust 21, visibility 10, sky condition clear, temperature 24, dew point 4, altimeter 2, 9er 7. Digital approach in use, landing and departing runway 18, approaches will be made at converging runways. VFR arrivals, requesting approach services, contact San Angelo approach 125.35 or 354.1. San Angelo NOTAMs, use caution, terminal obstruction, work in progress, bird activity on airport. Taxiway Alpha closed, south of runway 927. Hazardous both information for the San Angelo area available to flight watch or flight service advised on contact destination echo.
Okay, we have information echo, and the altimeter setting is 299 or 7. So we hit this button that says Baro. That means we can reset the altimeter, and then we just hit Baro again to deselect it. Now we're going to come over here. We know our flight plan we know what it's going to be. So we hit the flight plan button, one click with the small knob, push in on the small knob, and scroll down until we find SJT to 3 Romeo 9. It's right there. We hit menu, activate flight plan, enter, and it's activated. It's just a direct leg. And that's all there is to that. Now we're ready to go. Jeremy's going to get the clearance, and then we'll pick back up on the run-up. Alrighty, now we're going to do the run-up on this airplane. So we're going to take the throttles and run them up to 1,400 RPM, give or take. It doesn't have to be exact, but just somewhere real damn close to 14. And now we're going to just run the propellers. We're going to try not to bump the throttle as we do it. We'll pull it to feather. We'll notice a drop in RPM and a rise in manifold pressure. We're going to do this 3 times. This is just to run the oil through the hubs. Make sure it feathers. Now we're bringing things up to 1,800 RPM. Again, just kind of real close to 1,800. Now we'll start with the left side. We're going to do the right mag. Notice the drop in RPM. We'll do the left mag. We're looking for no more than 150 RPM drop and no more than about 75 between the two. We're on the right engine now for the right mag. the left mag. Then we're going to bring these back to 1,000 RPM. Want to pull it all the way back to idle to make sure they don't die, that's fine too. Now we're going to check the elevator trim. We're just going to make sure we're in the green arc. I'll try to be up about 5 or 6 units. And now for the before takeoff check, we're going to have the flaps up. We got our trim set. Got our rudder trim back at 0. Aileron trim, this airplane needs a little bit of right aileron trim. We're going to go fuel pumps on. All the lights are on. And if we had the air conditioner on, we can have the blower on, but not the AC. AC we would turn off. We're going to hit the go around button, which will bring up our flight director. And we'll switch over to tower. Give them a call. I'll give them a call. That's tower, bearing 2044 Alpha is ready to go 18.
Bearing 2044 Alpha, Master Tower, runway 18, cleared for takeoff.
18 clear for takeoff, 2044 Alpha. Quick check and make sure nobody's coming. Because sometimes towers make mistakes. You can do this either rolling or you can do it with the brake set. We'll do it rolling today. But because we got 8,000 foot runway, so we're going to bring it up to about 1,800. Make sure they come up together. You notice the throttles were a little off of each other. And to at least 2,400. They're still good, and now we're just going to go all the way forward. Got a little bit of a right crosswind, so just a little bit of right aileron. And we're going to rotate at about 85 to 90. Positive rate, bring the gear up, and we turn the lights off. The landing lights and taxi lights. We're going to shoot for 130 knots. And whenever we get a chance, we're going to bring the throttles back to 36 inches of manifold pressure. With a digital gauge, it makes you want to be exact, but just has to be pretty close, 36. And then 2,400 RPM. These you'll definitely want to be pretty exact on, just because you don't want to hear the wah 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 wah.
November 44 Alpha, contact San Angelo, departure today.
Departure today, 44 Alpha. We're climbing up to 7,000 feet, doing 130 knots. We are in trim. Go to heading mode on the autopilot. Make sure we're runway heading, and I'm going to turn the autopilot on. And San Angelo departure, bearing 2044 Alpha is 2,700 for 7,000.
2044 Alpha, send departure radar contact, climb and maintain 12,000, turn left direct to Austin Lakeway.
12,000 and left direct Austin Lakeway, 44 Alpha. So go ahead and start the turn. We hit this button right here, which brings it up to where it says altitude. And now we're going to run this up to 12,000. I used the heading bug just to get us to start the turn. But now I'm going to come over here, direct, enter, enter. And this is the most important part for this GPS is, or this autopilot. Hit the second button there. It says GPSS steering. The GPSS steering, we leave the autopilot in heading mode. Where it says heading, we got flight director on, autopilot's on. And the GPSS steering will actually just follow the GPS. It'll steer it however it needs to be done. And that's pretty much all we do for the climb. Yeah, okay. Alright, so we're descending down into Lakeway. One thing we got to do on our descent is we set our pressurization for our landing field. That top number, you can't really read it because it's faded, but it's a 1. Lakeway's about 1,000 feet. Other than that, our descent profile, we're just going to turn off the autopilot, which I did. I'm going to turn off the flight director because I don't need it because I'm going to hand fly the rest of the way.
Contact approach 125.
We're within 5 minutes or so.
532, General 11.
So I'm going to go ahead and start pulling back on the power just a little bit. We do stay within the green arc because we don't want to shock cool the engine. That's a big no-no. Here in just a second, once we get a little bit closer and switch over to Lakeway's frequency, which is 23 nothing. We switch over to that. We will start hanging stuff out, putting fuel pumps on, and all that good stuff. Alrighty. So once we get below the little triangle speed here, which is 172 knots, I'm sorry, 176 knots, we can go ahead and drop our first notch of flaps, which is just 15 degrees of flaps. The airplane will balloon on you, so be prepared to push forward a little bit on the yoke, and we can also drop the gear, turn our lights on, and our fuel pumps on. Remember, we got our, what I call the Bubba Gump checklist, which is boost pumps, gas on, undercarriage, mixture, and then prop will come full forward with.
Simple traffic, Piper 468 for Juliet, 7 miles to the north. Going to enter a left base for 15, full stop, Temple.
Lakeway Traffic Marin 2044 Alpha is a 3-mile right base, 16 Lakeway. Once we're inside the wide arc, so under 142 knots, we go ahead and throw in the rest of our flaps. This airplane, it likes to fly, so it's hard to slow down without pulling it to idle, which we're not supposed to do, so we hang out as much flaps as we can. I'm going to keep the power back at about, just above 15 inches of manifold, just so I can get the airplane to slow down. If I need to, I will trade a little bit of this altitude for some speed, so I'll pitch the nose up to get it slowed down. Then once it slows, I can bring the nose down and kind of drop it. Basically just drop it out of the sky. Lakeway Traffic Baron 2044 Alpha is a 2-mile final 16 Lakeway. So the other option you can do is you can pitch it down quite a bit, stay within the wide arc, get down to a comfortable altitude want to be a part of, and then you can level off. The main thing is we need to cross those trees up there at about 100 knots. So right there, I'm going to go ahead and pitch up, slow it down. Lakeway Traffic Baron 2044 Alpha, short final 16 Lakeway. Current slowing through about 110. Ideally what we're going to get, right when we cross over the trees, I'm going to pitch it down of the runway. We will get the stall horn. That is okay. Full flaps, about 100 knots. We cross the trees in these houses. We pitch it down. Power comes to idle. And now we just hold it off. Once we're on the ground, bring the flaps up, yoke stays back, and firm, yet not too firm of braking. We got enough runway, as long as we touch down early enough to get this thing on the ground and get it stopped. We still got about 700 or 800 foot of runway left if we were to need it. Make a turn, of course, full rudder, a little bit of brake, a little bit of power. Lakeway Traffic Baron 2044 Alpha is back taxiing on 16 Lakeway. Alright, so like I said, I brought the flaps up after I touched down. After landing, we'll go fuel pumps off, cowl flaps open, strobes and landing lights off, and real important, door seal to deflate, or flip that switch down. That's where the door seal will deflate so we can actually open the door, otherwise we're stuck in here until it kind of deflates on its own when we depower the airplane. Alright, so the shutdown procedure, at least here in Lakeway for sure. Big important one is the parking brake is set. We're going to turn off the Aspen PFD, then we'll turn off the avionics. We'll do it in a sec. Once that comes off, make sure to
traffic Bonanza 09er Yankee 10 to the west.
Once the engines stop, you can turn off the mags and turn off the taxi light, and then the